So our fifth unit of this lesson is the laws of exponent is the power rule. And so what that looks like is if we have a situation such as this, we have x squared and it's raised to the power of 3. What this means is that you have x squared 3 times itself. So we really have x squared times x squared times x squared, right? And if we were to expand that form, we would have x times x, and this is also 2 x's, and this is also 2 x's. And when we expand it and we count how many we have, we will have x to the 6th. So the pattern that we noticed during the warm-up is that when we have something raised to the power, right, an exponent raised to another exponent, you will use multiplication in this case. So we're just going to look through a couple examples. And first, the general rule is that if you have x raised to the power of a and then that raised to the power of b, your answer will be x raised to the power of a times b. Okay, so we just multiply those two numbers together. Now let's look at a couple a little bit more difficult examples. So if you have this case where you have a whole term raised to the power of 4, we're going to have to take it step by step. So this is really the same thing as 9 raised to the power of 4. Okay, so this is really, first we have to think about 9 raised to the power of 4. And then we have to take r to the power of 3 and multiply it by 4. So that's going to be r to the power of 12. And then we multiply, again, the powers, which in this case would be g to the power of 24. Okay, so we're not using addition anymore. We're now using multiplication. So if you'd like to write out your final answer with a number here instead of 9 to the power of 4, that'd be 6,000. I just typed it in my calculator. 561, r to the 12th, g to the 24th power. So again, this isn't 9 times 4, it's 9 to the power of 4 because it's 9. If we were to expand it, it would be 9 times 9 times 9 times 9. Okay, so for our next example, we talked about this a little bit last class. Basically, w over w to the power of 3 twice is the same thing as thinking about this as multiplying the power by both the numerator and the denominator. Okay, so this would be the same as doing w squared over w to the 3rd times 2. And again, as we just thought about the general rule, we have now w squared over w to the power of 6. Okay, but we can still simplify this even more. So this is not our final answer yet. We can still simplify this. So if I have w squared over w to the power of 6, I can do 2 minus 6, and I can write my final answer with positive exponents, which is what we practiced last class. So this is what your final simplified answer for this problem should be. Okay, now we're going to take this and apply it to scientific notation. So again, similar to what we've done before, what we're going to do is we're going to take 8.7 and raise it to the 3rd power times 10 to the, and we have 5 times 3 in this case. So that would be 10 to the power of 15. Okay, so I'm just going to put 8.7 raised to the power of 3 in my calculator. And this is what I got. I got 658 and about a half. And I still have times 10 to the power of 15. I know that this is not in scientific notation, so I need to divide it basically by 100. So I'm going to turn it into 6.585, 585 thousandths. And since I've made it smaller by 100, right, or I've gone over twice, I need to make this one bigger twice, and then that would be my final answer. Okay, so make sure you have these in your small notebook, and there's both practice lessons and homework attached to the Google Classroom. Good luck!